The morning sun casts a golden glow over the monastery. Birds sing softly, filling the air with gentle melodies. Buddha walks along the stone path, his steps unhurried. His disciples follow closely, seeking wisdom in his words. A young monk approaches, his face troubled by unanswered questions. He bows deeply, showing respect and devotion. "Master," the monk says, his voice hesitant, "I struggle to understand the true nature of generosity." Buddha stops, his gaze resting upon the monk. His eyes reflect boundless compassion and understanding. "What troubles you?" Buddha asks, his voice calm like flowing water. "Is true generosity measured by the size of our offerings?" The monk asks. Buddha reaches into his alms bowl, lifting a single grain of rice. "This grain," Buddha says, holding it between his fingers, "is small, yet powerful." The monk furrows his brow, uncertain. "If a hungry man receives a feast," Buddha continues, "but another receives only this grain, which act is greater?" The monk hesitates, thinking deeply. "The feast," he says finally. "It nourishes and sustains." Buddha gently shakes his head. The starving man, having nothing, sees this grain as life itself, Buddha says. The monk's eyes widen. "True generosity," Buddha continues, "is not measured by its size but by the sincerity behind it." The monk lowers his head, contemplating the lesson. Buddha walks further down the path, observing the world with quiet reverence. A beggar sits beneath a tree, his clothes tattered, his face weary. A merchant passes by, carrying baskets overflowing with food. The beggar extends his hand, his voice weak. "Kind sir, I have not eaten in days," the beggar pleads. The merchant frowns, shaking his head, and walks away. The beggar sighs, his hands dropping to his lap. Buddha stops, watching. A small child approaches, clutching a crust of bread. She kneels, offering the bread to the beggar. The beggar's eyes fill with tears, his hands trembling as he accepts the gift. Buddha turns to the monk. "Tell me," Buddha says, "who showed true generosity?" "The child," the monk whispers. "She gave all she had." Buddha smiles. "Generosity is found in the heart, not in wealth," Buddha says. The monk bows deeply, his understanding deepened. They continue walking, the lesson settled within the disciple's soul. The path ahead is bathed in sunlight, guiding them forward. Another day, another journey upon the winding paths of the land. The air hums with life, carrying whispers of the morning breeze. Buddha walks with steady steps, his disciples following in silence. Their robes move like flowing water, shifting with each measured pace. The trees bow gently, their leaves murmuring wisdom carried from the earth. A road stretches ahead, worn by countless footsteps before. A thorny branch lies across the path, jagged and tangled. Travelers avoid it, stepping around with hurried strides, their minds elsewhere. An old woman kneels beside the branch, her fingers curled around brittle wood. She pulls with effort, yet it does not budge. People pass, their gazes fleeting. None stop to assist her toil. Their eyes see, yet their hearts remain distant. A young disciple pauses, observing the struggle. He watches the woman strain, her breath shallow, her hands trembling. He steps forward without a word. His fingers grasp the branch, lifting it aside with quiet resolve. The old woman exhales, relief softening her features. Her back straightens, her hands fall to her lap, resting in peace. "You have spared many feet from pain today, young one," she murmurs, her voice gentle with gratitude. The disciple turns to Buddha, seeking wisdom beyond the moment. He bows, awaiting the master's words. "Master," he says, his voice light with uncertainty, "I did only what should be done. Is this truly significant?" Buddha gazes upon the cleared path, his eyes reflecting endless depth. He lifts his hand, gesturing toward the space once obstructed. You see only your hands lifting the branch, Buddha says. But in truth, you have spared countless others from suffering. The disciple's brow furrows. He listens, holding the moment within his heart. Acts of kindness ripple through the world beyond our sight, Buddha continues. Compassion is not measured in grandeur, but in sincerity. The disciple bows, his understanding deepening like roots in fertile ground. His heart opens to the lesson carried upon the wind. They walk onward, the cleared path guiding their steps. Free of obstacles, the land moves around them, shifting with each breath. Ahead, a traveler stumbles, his feet catching upon a stone. He falls, dust rising like whispered echoes of the earth. A merchant nearby watches, his gaze indifferent. He turns away, his wealth untouched by the misfortune before him. The fallen man groans, his hand grasping his ankle. The pain tightens his face, twisting his expression into silent anguish. Buddha stops, his presence calm, unwavering. He kneels, his fingers brushing the earth, sensing the pulse beneath his touch. A child approaches, her steps light upon the soil. She kneels beside the fallen man, offering her hand in quiet kindness. The man grips her small fingers, his strength returning. He rises, his breath steady, his pain eased by the gesture. Buddha turns to his disciple, his voice soft like flowing water. Tell me, he asks, whose act carried the greatest weight? The disciple whispers. She acted without thought of reward, without expectation. Buddha nods, his expression serene. Compassion is found in small gestures, unnoticed by many but felt by those who receive. The disciple lowers his head, his heart swelling with understanding. They continue forward, the path widening, stretching toward endless horizons. The lesson remains, carried upon the journey. Another day, another quiet journey beneath the sky. The wind whispers through the trees, carrying the scent of earth and morning light. Buddha walks slowly, his steps measured with serene purpose. His disciples follow, their minds open to wisdom carried upon his words. Ahead, a man sits beneath a tree, his shoulders heavy with sorrow. His gaze is distant, lost within the silence of his grief. A monk notices the man, his brow furrowing in concern. He turns to Buddha, seeking guidance upon the nature of comfort. Master, the monk murmurs, his voice low. The man suffers. What words might bring him peace? Buddha kneels, scooping water into his hands. He pours it onto the dry earth, watching the soil drink its nourishment. When the earth thirsts, do you speak to it, or do you give it water? Buddha asks gently. The monk blinks, uncertain. Water, he says, hesitating. But how does this apply? Buddha motions toward the grieving man. He does not need words. He needs presence. The monk nods, his heart shifting with understanding. He steps forward, sitting beside the sorrowful man in silence. Time passes, the stars blinking into existence as night falls. The man exhales, his voice finally breaking the quiet. Thank you for being here, he whispers, his grief softened by the monk's presence. Buddha watches, his eyes reflecting the truth of the moment. Compassion is not always spoken. Sometimes presence alone is the greatest gift. The monk bows, absorbing the wisdom resting between unspoken kindness and quiet understanding. They continue forward, the night embracing them, carrying the lesson upon its gentle breath. Ahead, a woman kneels beside a wilted flower, her hands tracing its fragile petals. She sighs, sorrow threading through her gaze. Buddha stops, observing. His disciples pause, watching with quiet curiosity. The woman lifts her eyes, sadness resting within them. The flower withers despite my care, she murmurs. Buddha kneels, touching the brittle stem. All things change, he says softly, but kindness remains. even when the outcome does not. The woman lowers her head, considering his words. Her fingers release the flower, allowing it to exist as it must. The disciples listen, their minds opening further to the wisdom carried within life's impermanence. Buddha rises, his steps light upon the earth. True compassion does not seek control, only understanding. The monk exhales, his heart steady with newfound clarity. They walk forward, the world shifting around them, filled with silent lessons carried upon the wind. Suffering only remains when held too tightly. The merchant's shoulders eased, understanding emerging in his gaze. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.